all kinds of different political policies, economic, social, cultural policies, which instituted the dominance of one people by force over another people. One people by force over another people. So this means that many civilizations, in brackets, which came to power by that kind of force, we can question what kind of civilization is that? I was just reading this book on from Sanju Hira about decolonizing the mind. Now, colonization or slavery might have finished or might have formally been stopped many years ago, but in our mind we are still colonized. And that's where we come to what you were just saying. The mental change is still to happen, and also the heartful change. Because if we look at Europe and we define history in terms of enlightenment, the period of enlightenment is the period where the greatest massacre and the greatest can I say, disaster for human dignity has taken place. And that was the time of Inquisition, the time of slavery, the time of colonization. This is all during the period that Europe flourished in its Enlightenment period. But how come we don't consider and we don't look at this history in that way? And not only look at that history, but look at the history that we live in today. Which brings me back to how I started, is to say that His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie they see themselves as superior, even though the Italians came and they bombed Ethiopia and they conquered land and they tried to enslave these people. Even though this happens later, His Majesty always used the word of wisdom to make that connection. So coming back to that is that we have to take responsibility in ourselves to find a way to connect to each other. Whether this connection is connecting to nature or connecting to our fellow brothers, but fellow brothers has to incorporate every human being on this planet. That doesn't mean that judgment is not being done for injustice. That doesn't mean that. That has to be spoken. But His Majesty already proved that speaking out of injustice on itself is a power whereby the conscience that appeals to the collective conscience of the world, which is a power where judgment of God on him in this world can happen.
Yes.
But how much faith do we have that there is justice? When we see this world, we say this is an unjust world. It's an unjust world. But who makes injustice? It's human beings that make injustice.
What are
So,
you going to do about it?
exactly.
They feel powerless
Mm.
and want to give you this same feeling by saying,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah,
about it?
because it's unjust anyway.
It's useless.
It's all useless. But this
It's useless.
this
Full.
this is this the how can I say it removes the responsibility from the individual to take part in making more of a just world, because it is us which this separation, coming back towards that topic, is that when we separate from our fellow human being and when we are not able to see the equal worth and find that commonality, our relation is doomed to destruction. It's very simple. If I have already judged you to be my enemy for life, that means there's no salvation either for me or for you in my perception, because I see you as an enemy, but for me as well. So the salvation is not in the individual, but the salvation is in the relationship. If Christ came for salvation, He came in a way that He did it for other people. He didn't come and demonstrate some crazy miracles on Himself and then people were saved. No, always it was a form of service. And in fact, He never even came to say, look at me, here I am, the Christ to come to save the world. He actually came and He started to serve.
Who am I?
How can I cleaning other
Foot.
people's feet,
Foot, washing,
serving, washing food,
serving.
constantly serving, and His Majesty did exactly the same. So there is a power in service, a service which serves a higher ideal of common humanity. And this power is what we often forget, or we are deluded to think that the world is so unjust that there is no power. But personally, I would